It is now 7:42. The British television programming that we see here in America reveals Britain's flair for comedy and drama. Earlier this morning, there was some real-life British drama with the Queen's opening of Parliament from the House of Lords. Later today, in just a couple of hours, the goings-on in the House of Commons will be broadcast on television for the first time ever. And it should make for interesting viewing, as the House members are noted for colorful doings. Which brings us to someone who regularly adds color to our proceedings, Ron Reagan. And this morning, it's television with a British accent, as he continues his round-the-world look at what the rest of the world is looking at on Ron Reagan's TV World.
When Americans think of British television, two things usually come to mind: high-tone drama and men in dresses. It's either Masterpiece Theater or Monty Python. There is a schizophrenic quality to English television. On the one hand, you have I, Claudius, Upstairs, Downstairs, Brideshead Revisited. And on the other hand, you have Benny Hill. But then there's a whole vast middle ground of typically British eccentrics. Eccentric just might describe One Man and His Dog, a popular Sunday afternoon show featuring lots of well-bred sheepdogs charging over field and fen in pursuit of stray lambs. The fans love it. The dogs love it. It's television for those who like their flocks well-tended.
And what a contest it's been.
Mustn't over water plants kept at fairly low temperatures.
The English love their gardens, which may explain the success of Gardener's World, a show which poses the video question, how long can you watch anyone prune roses?
One method that we have for really showing people how to manage a plant is to use a dipstick.
But for sheer edge-of-the-seat, fire-in-the-marrow excitement, nothing compares with World Snooker. Forget the Super Bowl, forget Joe Montana and the long bomb. A real Englishman will stay up till dawn to watch Terry Griffith sink that red ball in the corner pocket. One expert on British viewing habits is London TV columnist Ross Welford.
The gardening show and snooker is that the British don't regard that as eccentric. You know, it's a perfectly sensible show.
And how does British television programming itself differ from the American programming?
Possibly slightly slower, slightly more experimental.
So I've got to find the tigers in a cage.
Yes, where are you?
Behind bars.
Right, we're just coming down in a car park somewhere.
Yes, good.
One program that's experimental but certainly not slow is Treasure Hunt. Studio contestants try to decipher obscure clues to the whereabouts of a hidden treasure. They then direct a fashionably sportive hostess, Annabelle, as she races around England on foot or by boat and helicopter in a frantic search for the loot.
Amazing.
She's doing it. It definitely is true.
Oh, I can see a clue.
Now you've got to hook it down.
Hook it down, okay.
Yes.
There's a tremendous sense of color in here. Just look at those walls. It's like being buried alive in a family-sized tub of pistachio angel delight.
Another popular British game show involves snooping on one's neighbors. Through the Keyhole invites studio contestants to guess the identity of a celebrity after a video tour of his home.
Who lives in a house like this?
I'm in bed with not one, but two men, which is pretty exciting, and they're so incredibly young that they brought their teddy bears along with them, which is quite sweet.
Hello. Hello.
Perhaps most ironic, if not bizarre, is Pillow Talk, a late-night between-the-sheets chat show hosted by the great-granddaughter of Sigmund Freud. Freud might argue there are really 6 people in that bed, but that's another story.
The typical thing is, no, I never watch TV, apart, of course, from the occasional documentary. You know, or I watch the news, stuff like that. And then when you'll say, oh yes, and what about Coronation Street last night? The guy will say, oh yes, I see Deirdre's just got divorced from Ken.
Driving? Oh, so it wasn't because I was driving. I mean, you weren't trying to prove a point about equality in marriage or anything like that. Well, were you?
You might think that two peoples divided, as they say, by a common language could unite over soap operas. But while American soap characters wear perfect clothes to match their perfect noses, the English prefer soaps with a common touch. Shows like EastEnders and Coronation Street are strictly working class.
I'm on the set of one of England's most popular television shows, which sadly can't be seen in the U.S. Although, come to think of it, I'm not sure America's ready for the Dame Edna experience.
I'm not a professional entertainer. I'm a housewife who happens to be gorgeous.
You knew we'd get back to men in dresses eventually. Dame Edna Everage, housewife turned megastar, began life as one of the characters in Australian comedian Barry Humphrey's one-man show. She's now one of the hottest personalities in British television. Tomorrow, we'll get as up close and personal as we dare with this astonishing creation.
Yes, you will see more of Dame Edna tomorrow, perhaps even more than you want to see. It's 13 minutes before the hour, TV American style. Columbo's Peter Falk is with us when Good Morning America continues.